The Houston Rockets select Akeem Olajuwon of the University of Houston.
With the first pick, the Orlando Magic selects Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Derrick Rose, Kenyon Martin. Let's hear it for New Jersey.
Purvis Ellison.
Kyrie Irving, Kwame Brown. Thank you for your enthusiasm.
Allen Iverson from Georgetown University.
Greg Oden, Chris Webber, Anthony Davis.
We often meet people who act as if they are the smartest person in the room. The thing about outgoing NBA Commissioner David Stern, he usually really is. This week, the personable, charismatic, and sometimes tough Stern will be announcing his 30th and last NBA draft. One of his more memorable drafts was a decade ago, when the NBA future walked across the stage in New York and said basically, "How you like me now?" Hyped then as one of the best ever, it was part on point, LeBron taking #1, and part, Darko Milicic went second. It was also one the Miami Heat used to set the stage for what we all are experiencing now. Here's a look back at the draft of a generation.
In the NBA, where one star player can change the balance of power in the league, fortunes rest on the bounce of a ball.
The 2003 draft was viewed as a three-person draft with three franchise-changing players, and that would be LeBron James, Darko, and Carmelo.
It is a special draft lottery edition of the GMC Shoot-Around on ABC.
The 2003 NBA Draft Lottery was one of the most anticipated draws in history, with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Denver Nuggets owning the best odds to win a highly coveted #1 pick.
The draft lottery had a lot of intrigue because somebody was going to get their hands on LeBron James.
Here goes LeBron all the way. The third pick goes to the Denver Nuggets. The second pick goes to the Memphis Grizzlies. And that means that the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
When the picks just came out, I just kept praying about which team I was going to go to.
The Cavs won, and so did the Detroit Pistons, who received the Grizzlies pick to complete a trade. But instead of locking on Carmelo Anthony, the Pistons fell in love with a mysterious Serbian teenager named Darko Milicic, who president of basketball operations Joe Dumars and his staff discovered during a chance meeting in New York City 8 hours earlier.
We were using John Jay University's gym for our draft preparation. By coincidence, the Pistons were there that day purely because they were playing the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals later that evening.
I just remember going over and talking to Joe while the Pistons were still in the shoot-around and telling him that I was watching Darko shoot on the other side.
Coaches and staff of the Pistons started just naturally filtering over. More and more people started watching.
I remember personally being wowed by the workout and having Dumars turn to me several times, just in awe of what he was seeing from a kid that was 17 years old.
You can end the suspense now. Darko Milicic ring a bell to you?
I've heard of him, and he or Carmelo Anthony would look good in a Piston uniform. I'm gonna be politically correct here, and either one of them would do well with us.
It's Darko, folks. Back to you.
We spoke later that night after their game had ended and immediately scheduled a workout, and we knew pretty quickly there was an excellent chance Darko was going to become a Piston.
The Pistons' decision to take Darko opened the doors for the Nuggets, potentially, to select Carmelo with the third pick.
We really liked Carmelo. I remember right after the lottery said that it would be tremendously lucky for us if he was there at 3. I was never truly convinced until they actually made the pick that they were going to pick Darko.
While LeBron, Darko, and Carmelo earned most attention, potential All-Stars could still be found in the deep draft, determining who was the challenge. especially for the Miami Heat at number 5.
When we came to work out Chris Kaman, we were standing around waiting, and Dwayne was working out at the other end of the gym, and Pat said, "Who's that? Who's that kid down there?" "That's Wade." And he said, "Whoa." That caught Pat's eye from a distance, and I think that was 4 or 5 days before we worked out Dwayne.
There was a real question mark with Dwayne about whether he shot the ball well enough, whether he handled the ball well enough. This is like 22 notes that I had written to make sure that Dwayne was being prepared for all of the workouts that he was going to have.
Very, very excited, very anxious. When I got done with my workout on Saturday, I was, just like a lot laid back. I was like, oh, okay, I did all I can now. Just wait and see what happens.
Darko, Pistons in the finals next year.
The world's most famous arena is Madison Square Garden, hosting the 2003 class for the NBA draft.
I'm sure we called Cleveland as a courtesy to see if they wanted to trade the #1 pick, which they didn't.
The Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
Oh, I just think, this white suit. I knew wasn't nobody gonna wear white.
Now the Detroit Pistons are on the clock at number 2. There are very few times in NBA history, just a half dozen, where a team that's won 50 games has picked this high in the draft.
The Detroit Pistons select Darko Milicic from Serbia and Montenegro. The Denver Nuggets select Carmelo Anthony from Syracuse University.
Toronto's in the 4th spot. This is where the known stops, the unknown begins. Let's see what the Raptors are going to do.
We're drafting Chris Bosh.
The Toronto Raptors select Chris Bosh from Georgia Tech University.
With Chris Bosh gone at 4, the Heat faced a difficult decision. Should they take the center, Chris Kaman, or gamble on Dwayne Wade?
The day of the draft, the whole day, the whole week, I was just numb. I knew I did everything I could have did in my workouts. Man, I just had to leave it up to God.
Torn by the choice, Heat head coach and president Pat Riley reached out to Michael Jordan's camp for advice from renowned trainer Tim Grover, who worked with Kaman and Wade.
On draft day, I get a call on the cell phone, and it's Pat Riley. And Pat Riley said, "Hey, listen, we have a decision to make." And he goes, "We're considering also 2 of your guys, Dwayne Wade and Chris Kaman. Who has the superstar potential out of the 2? I said, "The guy that has a superstar potential is Wade." Pat got into it again. "Well, we're looking for a big man." And I said, "I understand you're looking for a big man, but you asked me the question of who has a superstar potential between the 2.
The Miami Heat are on the clock, a 25-win team. Pat Riley tries to rebuild this team on the run.
Hello. Pat talked a lot about Kaman, and I was real strong on Dwayne.
The Miami Heat select Dwayne Wade from Marquette University.
I'm just numb all over. I don't know what to expect, because it was going into the draft. It was like, Dwayne could be taken from anywhere from 4 to 20. So it was like I didn't know where I was going. If I could do it all over again, I would love to go 5 once again to Miami, because it's a place where I feel I belong.
10 years later, the greatness of the 2003 draft is on display in the Miami Heat locker room, with 3 of the top 5 picks, LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, winners of back-to-back titles, and a potential dynasty in the making.
I've never seen as much excitement about a draft since then, and certainly never seen GMs more hopeful that the answer to all their problems resided in a few lottery balls.
As for Darko Milicic, he actually did win a championship ring with the Detroit Pistons. He was last waived by the Boston Celtics in November of last year. He currently resides in Serbia and Montenegro with his ring. Check out Brian Windhorst's full-length oral history of the 2003 NBA draft on ESPN.com.